I'm going to make contact hard, left-hand collar. And then most of the time, if you hit them hard enough, they're going to re-collar tie on you, right? And I just kind of bring my hand right over into their little elbow crack here with my right hand. Yep. Yeah. And then so this slide by is super easy. I'm going to try to pressure in a little bit. Most of the guys are going to try to bully you back. And the biggest part of this slide by here is elbow high. I say elbow to the sky, and then my fingertips kind of tickle the bottom of his elbow, right? And I'm going to try to slide his arm right in front of my face as I turn my hips. So now my feet, just kind of think about just rotating on your toes. I don't know if you can see, but I'm just turning let me see if I can angle this camera a little better. If you can see my feet here, right? And so my feet are doing this, just rotating on my toes here, right? Rotating. So again, we're making that hard contact with our back hand. They're going to re-collar. Our right hand is just going to come over and just rest right there. I'm not making him feel any uncomfortable. I'm not snapping on it. I'm just resting in that part of his elbow. And I'm going to put a little forward pressure, try to bully him a little bit. As soon as he presses back, elbow high, fingertips are tickling the bottom of that elbow high, pull it in front of your face as your toes rotate. There. And now.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish.
Well, and what I was going to say is what a lot of guys do when they go to finish that is you're going to circle behind. So if you hit it on your dad real quick, he might not fall. Good. Yeah, see, now you see how he hasn't fallen to his hands yet? What a lot of guys, the mistake they're going to make is you're going to circle behind, right? And he's going to fight hands and not touch his hands, and he's going to get away before you score. Yeah. Right? And so instead of circling behind, as soon as I get that slide by and I get to that side, I'm circling out front and trying to pull his hands to the mat.
Would you go like a big boy from that position? Oh, there he is. What's up? So, how you doing? It's great to see your beautiful head.
Right back at you.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So would you go big boy from that position, step in and try to – or
you can. So usually I just circle to the front, pull that far hip straight down. And then so keep your hand underneath that arm there, right? Because you're gonna have his
catch the waist.
And then catch the waist with your right hand. Is that your left hand?
Right.
So I usually go just around the hip, catch, and then circle forward and pull him down. Yeah.
Like almost like a spiral him down.
Almost like a spiral, suck him right down. That way he goes to his hands, rather than him being able to fight hands when you circle behind him.
You always go inside. You never go elbow to elbow.
No, always tickling the elbow with my hand, fingertips.
And if one slide by, what would the elbow to elbow one? Is that still a slide by as well? It's just a different type of slide by.
Yeah, I call it a bump. But yeah, we call it a bump instead of a slide by. Kate, I'm gonna fix one thing. Mm-hmm. When you collar tie, when you're making collar tie contact, instead of ear to ear, there's not a lot of space there, right? So if you're wrestling this strong, especially for you're big for a young kid, right? So you're probably wrestling a lot of kids that are stronger or like a little more developed, like seniors and stuff like that. Especially for your weight class, you tie up with someone ear to ear like that, and they're strong. It's gonna be really hard to create the space to get your hand in there to his elbow. Okay. So when I go collar tie, I'm always forehead to forehead. So that way they can't pull me in too tight and slow me down.
Have you felt like I've been playing with like putting the head on the other side, and then as they come back, using it to swing off the head or just create more momentum for either a swing. But I
really like creating angles with my forehead. So yeah, if I can get forehead in the temple, either side, creating an angle, especially because then you're turning his head. Yeah.
So into you, or are you pushing it?
So to start, I'll start forehead to forehead, and then if I'm looking for direction, right, I'll move my head this way to get a little angle here, or you can pull a change. But whatever side my hand's on, I'm looking to get that side just to create some movement. He doesn't like it. Just to turn his head, create some stuff that's uncomfortable, and like you said, creates a little motion for action. But to start out for the slide by, it's easy. Just go forehead to forehead. Just keep the space. There you go. Yeah, I like that contact too. Nice.
On the other side too. So when you get this sort of same side with your head thing too, that gives you a lot of strength there too. So if it's forehead or even same side head to get to it, is that better? than being straight head to head, having it on.
Yeah. Especially just because you can do more from it too. And
Right.
they're going to recollar. So if you want to go start working your head to the same side as your bicep, hiding your ear and your bicep, that works too.
And you have to know that they're going to retie. They're going to collar tie hard.
Yeah, especially with how hard he's hitting you. I know you want to re-hit him back.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
You can wrap my waist a little bit better. So when you're here, I gotta keep the head better. You ever like keep your leg underneath and try to like do like a throw?
And
Hard.
yeah, it's hard. So I used to like throw my leg inside and do like actually it's what Gross splayed RBY with it, the little inside leg spladle there. I used to do that a lot, and Cade would probably be good at it because he's long.
Right.
I would throw my inside leg in there, especially because in folk style that Merkel position is a takedown still. And so if you get in trouble, like where you can't circle up front, he's kind of strong. I would throw that leg in there for a little extra, extra help.
So you pass me, right? No collar tie. Go back. You slide it by. Look right here. I get to here. Right? Hold on a second. Hold on. Jeez. Now you would take this hand over the top and attack this leg. Well, okay. You'd be like, look. So you'd be here. That'd be like this. You're here, go down to your elbows. I'd be here. Inside.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I try to go below the knee, inside hand, and start reaching like below the knee if you can. Yeah, that way.
That's a lot of reach. I can't get over there. But
yeah, he's long. Cade, you probably be able to reach down by his ankle like that. Don't hurt your dad though.
Yeah, please. Wait, first of all, Kevin, you can't hurt Steele. I want to let you know that. I got past it. Yeah, go right here. Get inside. Now you have to fall.
Yeah. So start circling. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You're gonna pull and go. Yes, right there. Keep it right there.
It's okay. There's two different options you can do there. If you start falling too far over, you can trap the head and roll all the way through and have it like a spladle, right? Or if you stay in strong enough position like you were right there, you can hit it almost like a banana split and keep his head away from your chest. So you can do it either way.
Yeah. I think he's gonna go.
So if you start to fall too far over, you just roll all the way through, keep his head on your chest. That's what RBY, or that's what Gross did to RBY. But sometimes, which I prefer, so it's not as funky, you just keep it nice and tight like you just did and do it almost like a banana split. So you have a little bit of leeway right there.
You're going to find yourself in that position a lot with this skill where they're over your leg, yeah?
A bunch, yeah, because a lot of the guys, they're gonna try to fight as hard as they can to stay on their feet. So especially if you're circling out front, they're going to try to step over your leg that maybe to help them stay up, and it's really going to benefit you, especially with how long you are.
Well, this is great too because like all of his stuff is below the waist. Like we need above the waist attacks where we can score without having to shoot to our freaking knees and pull a leg in.
Right.
You know, or even having to go through the guy his hips to be able to score with less effort, I guess. You know.
Yeah, this is my go-to, especially when I'm tired. You get tired and you're hand fighting guys, and guys start hanging on you late in matches. Like those hands start hanging. Yeah, easy. Boom.
Now you can go try to do lighter. Just look for it. Right there, yeah. Just thread it. My leg too strong to too strong.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes that's hard. Like that's not super easy.
Well, you gotta have a funky body too. Like I want to drop my hip and kind of go back this way, bail behind him, and try to wrestle behind him. So where you gonna?
Usually you can like, and he just did it. He just kind of tricked me, lipped me out, and he was right behind you.
Right.
So,
right.
And most of the time, like I would use the reach over just to get you to bail or you to try to fight into me, and then I can go to work on top.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, like I would have to throw my leg in on my feet, right? I hit it here, and he's strong, and I have to do this to I kick that out, right? And now I'm stuck here, right? Like I'm stuck with this leg in, and so I'll start reaching over. He starts to bail, then I can trick me out. Does that make sense?
I like it. Yeah, you could use that kick out even to finish hard too if you bumped into him, right? Like hipped him down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you did when you first hit it on him. Is you like stepped in front to use your hips. Same thing.
Right. Awesome. So when you're setting that up, it's like off of your motion, you're moving, you're doing your faking motion thing, and then you come up when they tie and you just sort of bait them.
Yeah. So it's from my motion here. I like to check with my left hand.
Mm-hmm.
Just check my distance. Once I know I'm close enough, right hand is gonna light them up.
Mm-hmm.
And that most of the time, if you hit them hard enough, like Cade was doing to you, they want to hit you back.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How many times David Taylor does it where he lights dudes up, they touch his head, he snaps it off, goes to his big.
Mm-hmm.
All comes from like you hit them hard. It's wrestling. They're gonna hit you back. Plays right into what we're doing.
Expect them to hit you back.
You know they're gonna hit you.
Right.
So I do it fake motion. I check my range, and then for me it's my right hand. So Cade, it'll be your left hand. Light them up. And so we're not swinging from left field, right? So I still keep my elbow tight. My forearm is I'm trying to make real hard contact in his trap with my forearm when I hit him. Light him up.
Are you an ankle pick guy, or is this more what you're looking for from high?
Yeah, I'm an ankle pick guy. So this plays right into my next attack. Yeah, nice.
As soon as he touch your head, though, go.
That was good contact.
Okay. You gotta get range. I'm the range.
Cade, you can you can range find with your right hand. So instead of your left, so I'll do range find, especially with how long you are. I range check with my lead leg. Range my lead leg hand. It's still there. I can still. It's not like I'm reaching.
You're not collar tying. Or
I'm just checking. I'm checking my range. If he level changes, my hand goes down. It's not like I'm still trying to find his head, right? So I'm range find. If he level changes, my hand goes down to down block.
It's basically the same as what those Penn State guys are doing, where they're matching leads and they're kind of this is and they're here and then they come wham.
Yeah. A lot of my stuff was from watching David Taylor.
He's really good. He's really good.
There it is.
Yeah. So Cade, you're doing a really good job of making hard contact. When he re-collar ties, he's leaning into you right away.
Just go.
So sometimes you don't have to push. Now, if you make contact and he doesn't re-collar tie, maybe you have to push a little bit to get him to touch on your head. But if you're lighting him up so well and he's hitting you back so hard, you're going to be able to hit it quicker than you have been. So as soon as he touches your head when you hit him hard, go.
But it's as soon as my hand comes back, his hand's over. His hand,
yeah. Elbow to the sky and going.
So super slow right now.
Elbow high, let it
Boom, yeah. You see how you called him leaning?
Yeah. Like one motion. Yeah. That felt good.
Yeah. Nice. A lot of time you're catching that frustration where he wants to hit you because you hit him so hard. And there's going to be times in this match where you've hit him and he doesn't re-collar tie, so you go to something else and you hit him and he's tired of you punching him in the mouth, right? So you hit him again and he tries to light you back, boom, you're ready.
So go into because I've seen some different ways to do this ankle pick, and I asked a lot of questions on this stuff. I want to see your footwork and what you're doing with your forearm and how you get the head down. And
yeah, so mine is
I'm thinking. Go ahead.
Mine's a little different, and so I don't go as much pick. So at 197, I wasn't like out extraordinarily strong, and so it was really hard for me to like pull these guys' head down to their knees, especially the guys that were strong for the weight class. And so I used my hard collar to set up my level change and get his feet stuck in the mat. And so I don't know if you guys can see well in this camera angle, but what I was doing is I was making hard contact here and then just grabbing his head to get him to stick, and then I'm letting both hands go as I level change to catch that heel. And so, but as you do it quick, it looks like I'm ankle picking him. So if we're wrestling here, I'm hitting him and I'm catching this foot. And my contact was to get him to go like this. here. And when he shrugs like that, there was a lot of weight in his heel. And as soon as I made contact, my ass was dropping to my heels.
That's
Now I'm shooting a
way
straight line to
more.
his.
That's
Say it again?
I like that a lot. That's way more how I would do it, just because I wouldn't want the fight to get the guy's head down. That's just a lot of work to get the guy's head down and pull his feet. And sometimes it's just more work than you're willing to get. I can just shoot on you and take you down. It's like, this is so much work to get your head, especially if they're stronger than you. So
yeah, it's really hard with a strong guy with strong back, strong legs. It's really hard to bring his head down all the way down to his knee.
right.
Now there's some guys who are really good at stuff like that. That just wasn't where I succeeded.
Well, if you look at early
What I did,
Kale's matches actually end up looking more like what you're doing, especially at the Olympic level. It was more like that. It was more like almost like a low single, but just a touch of the head and low single.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Say it again.
Let me see it again, really quick.
Yep. Yeah. And so again, this is almost like doing it in a mirror because I'm lefty. So my right hand, making hard contact, elbow tight, hard contact here, right? You get him to flinch. And now sometimes this will be late in the match and it'll almost be fake. I flinch before I make contact. So it'll be like this fake. And as he's doing that, I'm level changing here. All that way. He can't pull that leg back in time. Forehead right in his knee. I'm looking temple, try to make contact with the side of his knee.
You get all the way to the ankle, though. You're dropping all the way down. It's not a.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring my knee as close to his toe as I can, right? And make contact. I'm trying to make contact. You'll build up some scar tissue here, I'm sure, once you get better at it. I'm trying to make contact with like this part of my face on the inside of his knee every time.
And Brahman,
Go ahead, Dave.
what I feel when he's clubbing me, there is a pull on my head, and it makes my heel stick. That's not. I mean, I'm super massive and strong, so it's hard for him to overpower me.
I understand.
But once he makes contact, there is enough of a tug that I can't pull my right leg back.
It's just part of the level change. Say it again?
Almost just enough to freeze you in that position.
When he drops his butt, there's a lot of pressure.
So my effort isn't in pulling your head down, right? But my hand has to come down for me to go butt to heels.
Right.
And so my effort comes in the level change and then trying to be fast straight to the ankle.
This thing I see is an inherent advantage is that you're left leg lead already. So, and they're right. That's right. That's an inherent advantage of doing this. And Kale is actually shoots almost everything lefty, it seems, right? He comes righty and then hits everything right-hand collar lefty or lefty cross pick. And Kate's actually been working on this stuff for a while, so he's decent with his left-handed attack. But you got to develop this being able to shoot with your left hand. Otherwise, it's really not the same skill. Agreed?
Right. Yeah. Well, and so the thing is, especially with low singles and picks, you're going to wrestle. I would say 80% of the guys who wrestle are going to be right leg leads,
if not more,
and or more. Yeah. And so for a righty to shoot a low single, you have to do so much more work to get that left leg forward or you have to switch your lead leg, which kind of telegraphs. And so it's hard. It makes it a lot, and you got to be trickier if that makes sense.
So what I tell kids when I'm teaching the ankle pick is this: everybody's going to ankle pick the same way. Everybody's going to ankle pick with their left hand. No matter what your lead leg is, everybody has to ankle pick with their left hand. Because if I'm a right leg lead and he wants to ankle pick my left leg, and I continually pull this left leg back just naturally, right? This is my natural. Right. Pull me here, it's going to come back here. It's going to come back here, and I'm going to keep my left leg back. It's just hard to get that enough pull and coordination to get that damn left leg to you, or their back leg to you, right? But their right leg is already forward, and they want their right leg forward, so it just makes sense. Like it's all made for left-handed wrestlers. Right.
And so, and with him working on this, and then one thing that I taught my right-handed guys that like to do this is I'll just set that up with a snap then. So you're going to go left-hand collar tie, snap them off, and as you snap, you switch your lead leg. I don't know if you can see my feet here, but if I'm a righty, right, I'm going to make this left-hand collar tie, and I'm just going to snap my right foot back, right? And then I'm just going to keep my left leg forward when I come. And then I'm going to make my right hand contact, and then I'm going to go to work on that pick close single. And it's super easy, right? And it doesn't
That's sweet. Do that again. I like that.
So I'm making my left hand collar tie right, and most of the time they're going to re-collar tie or post on my shoulder. And I'm just going to snap my hands to the mat. My right foot's going to go backwards. And I just step forward with my left leg. And now it's not like a switch, like a telegraph. Like if we're wrestling and I switch in the open, right? Like if I'm the opposite coach, I'm like, all right, here comes this low single, right? Yeah. But if it comes from action, boom, snap, or switch, and it's not like that's just action.
That's sick.
So it's really hard to see that telegraph.
That's sick. We were like 2 weeks ago. We were working the exact same thing. Where we were going like this. Where if I was a righty and you fake or even takes a shot, so you shoot, boom, and so remember, so I was going. You like fake down your knee, boom. So where he goes here and he goes, no, just step fake like you just did. Step fake. Boom. Don't cooperate. Okay. He's not the brightest kid I have. I have 3 children. The other 2 are better than him. Go ahead. You do. So I'll fake you. I fake you. Step back. No, you step back. Yeah. Remember? So okay, I fake. Go fake back. Right there.
Yeah.
Same action, right? Where it's like it's in action. You're stepping back, but already sitting on the other leg and shooting off the other leg. Lots of 100% involved, but this is just with the hands. Same thing.
Right. Yeah, it's just setting it up so you don't have to telegraph it. and that way you're not waiting on him to shoot too to set it up either. You just kind of get to your own action.
So with the hand, so he would come in normal right here, and then you step. No, but you got to be able to hit this side. So
usually I'll just snap, and I almost like try to snap him to the mat, and most of the time, like high level guys are. So if he snaps me, right, he snaps me here, I'm gonna try to circle out and continue to wrestle, right? Especially if he snaps me with my hands, and so then if I can snap him to his hands from here with this left hand collar, boom, and I can switch my lead leg, I might just let him circle up so I can get back to work. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It's not always going to be there, but it's like a nice – you're making them move their feet. You're actually bringing that trail leg to you.
Right.
And threatening every time you do it. Even if they do circle out, it still was worth that action.
Right, and that lets me switch my lead leg without anyone really knowing.
Yeah. So you start right, and you put your hands on me. Yeah. Okay. And then as you snap, and then but you stay.
Yeah, there was good. And now you're gonna let him react, Kate. Now you just let him wrestle. Keep your hands on him. Let him wrestle. Keep your left leg forward though. Boom, and now you can go to work. There it is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm confused by your. Okay, do it without a partner. Let me see. Snap. Okay, do it without circling though. Now just like shoot straight.
Yeah.
I like that. And I'll do it like a pick action. See, but so the pick, so you come out righty, you come backhand collar, but then you want your right hand on them when you actually go hit the pick. So
when
you switch your hands.
I'll snap, pull my leg back, and then my right hand has to remake contact. Hand exchange.
That's nice. That's nice. Do that again. Go slow with that. No.
Yeah, and now in that one, Kate, you can go cross pick, which helps too. It's gonna pull it forward, hand exchange, boom, there it is. Or it just kind of take what he gives you there once you hand exchange, Kate.
Yeah. So this feel because I'm lefty and I keep wanting to go not put my right. I don't want to bring my right foot forward. I keep wanting to go left foot forward.
Right, and so the nice thing about this is it's not one dimensional, right? So as soon as you switch legs and hand switch, Kate, you can go cross pick, you can go regular pick, but it's the pick action that you've been working with your left hand. Yeah. So whatever snap you do, right, and then you hand exchange. So I'm left hand snap, right leg lead, right, I snap, switch my lead leg, I hand exchange to my right hand collar. If he pulls his left leg forward, then you can just cross pick. Right, turn it into a knee pull single, or if you cross pick him to his butt, it's to his butt, right? Or if you snap, hand exchange, they bring their right leg forward, boom, there you go. Single, low, or ankle pick, low, single. It's not one-dimensional. Whatever he gives you, you can take to a pick action.
That's great stuff. You were going to say?
I was saying that's like the theme with all these Zooms that we're doing. Everybody's has choices, and it's like a fork in the road. So it's one position, like starting, and then I have a bunch of options. And like,
Right.
I mean, that was the like inside tie from this and this.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, and here's
Go ahead. No, speak on.
the deal. The older we get, right? The older you get, the more high level wrestlers you get. The high level wrestlers you wrestle, or the lower level wrestlers, right? Not everyone's going to react the same way, right? Everyone trains different. They do different things, and so like, if you only thought ankle pick there, right? 50% of the time when you're wrestling, you're going to get super frustrated because that guy's not going to give you the look that you're expecting, right? Or you're drilling, and so you got to know that a lot of these times when you're attacking or setting up these attacks, that it's not going to go exactly how you want it, right? And so it's good that your dad gives you a different reaction than what we're expecting, because then you know, okay, that's there too, right? And there's a lot of different options, and it just depends on how these guys are going to react, right? And so, and that's where like these Penn State guys make a big difference, is because they don't really drill, they play wrestle, right? And so it's not like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to set up my high cross and I'm going to do this. It's okay, we're going to hand fight, and I'm going to try to move you, and whatever you do now, I'm going to attack, and we're going to get through the position, right? And so as you start to develop and you start putting all of these things together and you're drilling, just because you're not getting the look you want doesn't mean you stop your drill and start over, right? You know what I mean? You play wrestle and you continue on, and you find a way to get to an attack. Does that make sense? Rather than just thinking so one move, right? And the more you do that, the higher your wrestling IQ goes. And then when you're in a match and all of a sudden, you know, you're a foot's there that we weren't exactly expecting to be there, you still know you can keep wrestling.
2 points on that, and then Dave, don't leave, because I'd like us all to talk for like 1 or 2 minutes at the end, because I want to ask your perspective on a couple things. But that's the thing. This is what I love about this is high-level wrestlers they put you in a position where you have to choose one to defend, and then they go take the other. So it's like, once I get to what I got, my position, I'm going to score one way or the other. It's just, which way do you want me to take you down, you know?
Right.
And so I love listening to him articulate that too, and understand it. And it's great to see your perspective. Let's do that pick again where you're switching feet, and then we'll get into like the front headlock a little bit.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Oh, I'm not letting you do that.
There it is. Yeah, nice. That was good. And I was putting 2 moves together because you reached for the lead leg and you switched legs. That was perfect, Kate.
Thanks.
Nice. Man, that's going to make you dance. You're so long.
You have to react too.
Yeah. Boom, there it is. Nice. Nice.
Yeah. He's doing this too much.
Okay, come on.
And the nice thing about this is you'll start learning this doesn't just have to come off a snap, right? Like what you and your dad were saying, how to switch lead legs. You're gonna get in front headlocks where guys are gonna start to circle out, and you'll start finding stuff like this, or re-attacks off of their leg attacks, and changing directions, and just finding ways to use your hands to change where they're going.
Well, give me.
So that's
I want, like, you know, I like drills. Like if I could take one thing from you and like make it a drill, so make it easy for me, so I don't have to figure it out. What's a drill? Other than I like that one already. We talked about just pulling your leg back and picking. But give me another drill to move your hands and feet and develop that more.
So you mean moving our hands and feet and just to attacks?
Just a developmental drill to make what we just worked on happen better.
Yeah, that's what I would drill. Now that's coming from like I'm snapping both sides, trying to snap his hands outside of my legs, right? And because that's what's going to make you have to pull your leg back. So if I'm a right leg lead, I make contact with my left hand, right? I'm trying to snap his hands outside of my legs, right? And so that's the motion you need. Boom, there. And then we're going to now that we switch lead legs, I'm going to recollar tie with my right hand, and we're going to snap outside.
That's
now I'm going to reset.
Simple. That makes it simple right there. That helps simplify. That actually that motion reminds me of Jordan Lean. You know Jordan Lean? You've never heard of Jordan Lean? You remember his?
Oh yeah, first national champ from the state of Tennessee.
Okay, yeah, you know who he is then. You know him? You know him?
Say it again.
You know him?
Yeah, I don't know him personally, but I know who he is.
Yeah, he's awesome. He moves kind of similar to the way you're moving, and he used to do a lot of that snap to the side, but snap, switch, pick basically is just both ways, right? You're snapping, switching your feet, picking, snapping, switching your feet, picking. That's the basic motion, yes?
Yeah. And so that way, no matter what lead leg you're coaching or whoever you're working with, either way, snap, switch legs, make the other guy react.
So if you just grab me here and you're going to snap my hands, and then you pick. Right? And then I'll go the other way. Snap the other way. No, wait, you grab. Still grab here. Okay, so snap the other way. Right there. Switch. And pick. Yeah.
So I have whatever back leg. So if I'm a right leg lead, my left hand, that's my back leg, is going to be on the net when I snap. So if I'm a left leg lead, my right hand is going to be on the back of his neck or the back of his head to snap.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of the front headlock behind both triceps, Jordan Burroughs, chase directions, this is from our feet to snap. Because it's a lot harder to snap on both of his arms, right? Where the head goes, the body's going to follow. So I try to snap the head. And then I switch my hands, whatever my back leg is, snap the head.
It's like an Olay motion, like you would snap, like you're snapping the body.
Yep. Yeah. Just trying to snap them outside of whatever that lead leg is.
No, other way.
Nice, yes.
Was that the right way? Or
What leg? It's whatever hand is on the head, you're snapping to the opposite side. So if my left hand's on the head, I'm snapping them to my right.
This way.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And then your feet. Then you hand switch at that point.
Then I would hand switch because that's going to pull your right leg forward. Should. Now you're a lefty, so it's
forward. Yeah, you got to go like this.
you got to finish the snap, Kate.
You got to be like. Yeah. No.
Yeah, it's a so.
It was hard to try to snap that angle.
Yeah, so that motion is hard to get outside the leg, right? And so I'm moving my feet as well. So if I'm here or if I'm outside, it doesn't matter, right? It's outside, circle, switch.
Yeah.
Right? You got to make sure that leg is coming backwards. Circle, switch, hand switch, chain. And so that's going to – and it doesn't always lead right into attack. But once you hand switch, they're going to react. Mm-hmm. And that's when it happens. Trying to get their hands to touch the mat from that snap is my biggest.
Are you thinking about just bringing the guy's trail leg forward too? Or
yeah, that's the biggest thing, right? Hands touching the mat, which is going to make him probably circle away from where he's being snapped. Mm-hmm. So hand switch, there it is. Boom, hand switch, boom, run him over it.
That's probably your best side too, because that's getting back to his left hand picking, right?
Yep.
So, but you still work both sides of this.
I do it both sides just because for re-attack purposes. So if I'm able to down block and get to a collar tie, see circles up, then I can hit it to my wrong side as well. This way. Boom! There it is.
Yeah.
Cade, move your feet a little bit with that snap. So you're doing a lot of arms and trying to almost like the Stephen Abbas little shuck, right? Yeah. Try to pull your leg back while you snap. Yeah, and that should help you with your wrong side. You do it really well on your regular side, but on the left side, you're not doing it. Not pulling your leg back as well.
Yeah, that's no better. Do something again.
So damn long.
Yeah. Okay, that's good stuff. We can go back and rehearse all that. Let's see position on the front headlock.
All right, I'm gonna save his neck. So big thing is, you're righty, so it's perfect. You're gonna be. Perfect. He's going to come a little lower here. All right, so I take my left hand, and I'm going pinky in his armpit. Pinky in his armpit, palm up, pinky in his armpit. Right hand's going to come around, and I keep my elbow glued to my side here so I can reach under. And I'm just going to lock. I like to lock my fingertips in the lock like this in his armpit, right? Because if I reach too far and I try to lock like this, my elbow starts to come away from my side. Or if I lock like this, I can keep my elbow nice and tight, right? Then I lock like this here, and I'm just going to circle to my right, try to use my forearm against his tricep. See if I can circle a little further away here so we can get on camera. Here, like this, and I'm going to circle right to try to get my forearm against his tricep. Now, as soon as his hand comes off the mat, it's over. I take my head, stick it in the hole, and I'll probably then you're on that regular like head in the hole, but he's gonna be close to passing out.
Shoulders on top,
Pinky in the armpit,
and the hand that's across the throat is just right laid in right in there, right underneath the jawline. Yeah.
Yep. The left hand is what's going to be, I guess it's the right arm. But the left hand, if you get the left hand in the right spot, the right arm, it'll be exactly where it's supposed to be.
It's imperative that doesn't reach under. That stays on the tricep. That's
left hand a little higher. Get your pinky. I want your pinky like in his armpit.
Arm back
there you go. Perfect.
Nope, don't reach. I'm gonna reach more with the right hand across.
Yeah.
Leave the left
okay.
hand.
So you see how a little bit higher. Almost try to have your. Yeah, there you go. Now is your right hand or your right elbow glued to your side?
Yeah.
All right. Now I want you to think about your wrist pulling his tricep off the mat as you circle right.
Too deep still.
There you go. Now, keep circling. Now you sink your head in the hole. And then you can sit. Or freestyle I'd roll, which makes it really tight, right? Folk style, I just go head in the hole. Freestyle, instead of sticking my head in the hole, I'm just gonna roll. But folk style, you set it, head in the hole.
It's tight. When he put the pressure on my tricep, he buckled it in, and that hurt. Then he started to pull it out, and it didn't hurt as bad.
So he lost pressure when he walked it back.
It wasn't tight or didn't hurt your arm?
It didn't hurt my arm. Like when he buckled me down, I was like, "Oh, that hurt right to my tricep," and that's hurt my muscle.
I'm okay with it not being painful on your arm as long as it keeps getting tighter.
But
so as soon as
he's got to pull this away.
Yeah, and that's just to set this so that way this traps this. It traps you from being able to stop me from making this tighter by sticking my head in the hole. So it's your right arm is what's choking, but if your left arm's in the right spot, it's going to put your right arm in the right spot. That makes sense.
And they can't. The good thing with that grip is they can't suck or drag you out of there.
Right.
Because if they lift their arm to suck or drag, you should go to sleep. This needs to be shorter.
Yeah. Hey, Cade, your left hand is going a little too deep. So when you go to lock your hands, you're reaching your left hand to lock with your right. As soon as you get your left hand pinky in the pit, your right hand comes all the way to it. Right hand comes to it.
Right hand does all the work.
While staying glued.
Okay.
Good. Now make the right hand get to the left hand.
Reach your right hand there. Good. Yeah, and then reset it. Perfect. Now you circle right. Circle right.
His hand off. There you go.
There you go. Now you're all right. So, Cade, if his elbow goes to the mat, it's not as tight, right? He's going to be able to fight that. I want you circling to keep trying to pull his right arm off the mat. This arm that you're locking this tricep out. Pull. Yep.
Pull
keep
again.
Pulling.
Pull. Sometimes it's just one big jerk to get that arm off the mat, head in the hole, and score.
Yeah.
Well,
I can feel that.
I tell you what, when you said it's my first instinct is to suck a drag out of there. As soon as I did it, it did make it cinch it right.
Oh, makes it tight.
It
Makes it tight.
It's scary.
Feel it, Cade. It'll help you believe in it if you can feel it.
Coach, I've heard people say when Kevin has his front headlock, drag, and I just go, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And they reach that arm up and.
So I'd want to be on my conventional side, so I'd be here.
Oh, he's the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Can't see your lock, Coach.
So I
Coach, let me see. Is your right hand needs to be? It'd be your right hand up,
No, too deep.
higher. I want it higher, higher, higher. It needs to be like a little, there.
And back a little. Nope.
So you reach, you reach to lock. Keep your pinky in this pit, a little higher, more towards his lat. Keep bringing your left hand more towards his lat before you lock. So it needs to be.
Here, do it.
It needs to be like up here. Is where your wrist needs to be.
Do it.
My left hand needs to get in here. So
So your, I keep saying you're right. It's your right hand. So your right hand needs to be like this.
okay,
Stays there.
And then I'm gonna reach my opposite hand to it without moving.
but
And then you can start sucking it. Then you can start sucking it in.
so you have
So your right hand is against this part of his body,
And
right in
it's-
it where his lat and his armpit are.
It stays there.
it's more of a commitment than with my left arm
It
Yeah.
has to be.
that I'm used to making. Right, I'm trying to keep this thing, keep my arm short back.
Yeah.
I have to stick my hand in there deeper.
Yeah, you have to sell out.
And you have to be comfortable knowing that they will try to reach and drag because you're putting it in there deep.
There. Yeah, and then now you can suck. Now once you're there and you have it locked, now you can bring your left elbow back to your side.
Left elbow back. Okay, now I'm choking.
Yeah, now it's tight. Yeah.
So
And then I will go head in the hole and folk style.
how do I keep his arm out if I'm so high in his armpit?
So that is in freestyle, right? That's where I would block it with my ear and I'm gonna roll.
Okay.
In folk style, I block it with my ear and then you have to sit the corner like you're going regular Brent Metcalf head in the hole.
This
They sit to the hip and you walk, but you use your head, obviously, head in the hole to block it, just like any other front headlock head in the hole stuff.
make sure you choke him and pin him like that.
So I keep it locked until he falls to his hip, and then I'll go to the waist or go cradle.
Otherwise.
Either
So
way.
you were saying you wanted him to keep my arm out like this, right?
Yep.
I had a hard time keeping his arm up like this. I could feel the choke, but his arm was going back down to the mat too.
Got to go backward.
So he'd walk on my knees a little bit backwards and keep pulling my elbows to my chest.
Walk it out.
You know what I'm saying?
West side.
Circle right.
Circle right. Walk it
back.
out.
Now you can walk backwards. No, walk backwards before you commit to the head in the hole. Don't or stand on your knees. Sorry, stand on your knees first. Now pull them backwards. Walk backwards. So once you circle right to set it, Kate, you don't have to circle right anymore. Once you start to get his elbow off, then you just start going back towards the wall.
Yeah, just go backwards. Straight.
Go backwards towards your wall. Yeah, keep pulling your elbows to your side. Yeah, now you can set it. Now head in the hole, sit through. Walk, keep your head in the hole. Keep walking. Yeah, now you can go. And that you might have just put your dad out.
Look at me like that. You're looking at me like that. Oh, he's got long arms, so this shit works. You know.
It's tight.
And my
And in freestyle, instead of locking like this, I'm gonna lock like this because I know I can roll.
okay.
Right. In folk style, I lock like this because I have to have a little more flexibility to get my head in the hole.
Okay.
But in freestyle, this is where I've made a living. Like I've turned a lot of really good guys with this in freestyle because the harder you fight, the tighter it gets. And most of the time, I'll pass you out and I'll just step over and pin you, and before the ref knows.
I've seen him do that in matches. To defend it, would you just give up the two?
100%. I'm giving up a takedown. I'm going to my belly and saying, "Go ahead, take it."
What the two? If you get stuck in there that deep.
Oh yeah, because
Try to catch it.
yeah, I mean, I wrestled plenty of guys where that 2 turns into 10 real fast.
So you'd go 2 hands on the bottom hand.
I would try to get that off of there. Yeah.
I'm going
And
to
give up
I'm
two.
going to my belly and fighting the hands before I let him roll. Because that's you. The harder you fight that, the tighter it's going to get.
Awesome.
And that's in folk style too. The harder you try to stay up while he's turning that corner, I'm sure you felt it before you go to your hip. It just keeps getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter.
It's awesome skill to have. All this stuff was great stuff we don't do normally too. So it really added to our style. Thank you. I wanted to take a few minutes to just get you both of you guys' perspective on COVID and wrestling, and then kind of like philosophically, I'm
I'm really proud of Cade, and I'm really proud of the type of renaissance guy he is. He's got a lot of different skills. He's definitely not just a wrestler, and that's even more I think important now than ever. That what if wrestling was taken away from us? Then what? And I just wanted to get your perspective on it and hear Dave speak about it too, and like the whole father-son thing, because we're not doing this. And I tell him all the time, and I try to get him around men that understand this on a deep level, that we're not, if they took the scholarship and the college opportunity away, that would not negate anything we've done. It would not take away from the meaning of anything that we've done or the journey that we've been on. And it's not about this extrinsic sort of like means to an ends always. It's like we're doing it for what type of person it makes us, and how it makes us about excellence and standards and all those things, and having perseverance. But I don't know. I've been rambling. You guys, tell me what your thoughts are on all that.
Yeah, well, when you were talking about the end of that, like, it wasn't all just for scholarships and stuff like that. Like, when I was in the room at 10 p.m. at night getting an extra run in, it wasn't because I was like, oh, man, I need an extra couple $1,000s to pay for books.
Right.
That wasn't my thought process. It was like, how do I get an edge on my opponent, right? I wasn't thinking about extra money I could earn or different scholarship. It was, how can I be better when I toe the line against the guy the next time I wrestle? And so, and that's going to that attitude is going to translate to whatever I do next in life exponentially, and that when I'm thinking, okay, what can I do to get the edge up on my opponent, right? Most people don't have that type of attitude, like what you're doing right now, Kate. Like, a lot of people in life don't have this type of attitude where most people don't have access to wrestling mats, right? And now you're getting on the mat, what seems like a lot, with a lot of really good minds in the sport of wrestling, and you're getting an edge over a lot of your opponents, right? And you take that and you apply that to whatever else you want to do in life. You know how to get an edge, and you know the extra drive it takes, and you know the extra work it takes to get that edge. You know what I mean? You're at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, getting extra work in that you didn't have to do. Right? This is 100% extra. It's not like anyone's making you do this. And that is going to translate to whatever